Today I want to talk about series reads. So I really just want to talk about like how to track series reads, how to read series reads, preferences, capabilities, how fast I like to read them, just all about series reads. So I'm going to be using my two book journals to talk to you about series reads today and just show you how I track them, the series that I have read, the series that I'm planning to read, so on and so forth. So let's get started. Let's start with my 2022 book journal, and I am still using this book journal because I mapped out my series reads from last year in here, and there are some towards the back that I did not finish or didn't even start yet, so I'll still be using this journal just to keep up with my series reads that are already made in here, and then I will refer obviously to my 2023 journal for the rest. So let's get started. I'm going to change the camera so that you can see the journal a little bit better, and then I'm going to talk to you about it. So we're starting here with my 2022 book journal, and I'm just going to tell you how I set all this up. You may have seen this in previous videos, but I'm kind of just going over it again and talking about my plans for the future with series I would like to read and that sort of thing. So first of all, I started off with the Disney Villains series, which I've made tons of videos about. If you would like to see them, go check them out on my page. But pretty much I write on the top what the name of the series is. So this one is Disney Villains. Then I write how many books that there are, and I make a line for each one, and then I fill them all in of their names, and then I just highlight them as I read them in the same color. Well, I try to have them the same color. This one I messed up, but yeah, highlight them as I read them. And then once I finish the whole thing, I put a heart next to the book in the series that was my favorite. So, oh yeah, and then I also put a little picture of something that reminds me of the series or about the series, whatever, something like that. So next, oh, also I do my total page count of the entire series so that I know how many pages I read. So this one was 2,546 pages total, and I feel like that's a lot of pages. So it kind of just makes you feel like you've done this big accomplishment, which when you're reading a series, you are doing a big accomplishment by reading the whole series. I mean, there was literally 9 books in the series. That was a lot to commit to. There was a lot of pages to commit to, and I'm really glad that I completed it. And tracking it in this way is so helpful, so you don't forget what book you're on or just forget about the series altogether or anything like that. This really just gives you a visual and allows you to check it off as you go so that you really feel like you're accomplishing a lot, which you are. So make sure you tell yourself that. The next one that I read was Bridgertons, and I did the whole entire thing. Then I picked my favorites, and then I've got Caraval up here. Favorite, page count, and a little picture that reminded me of it. Good Girls Guide to Murder. I'm calling this finished because I literally can't find Killjoy anywhere, and hopefully one day I'll be able to read it and then come and check that off for good. But yeah. Then American Royals, I finally got my hands on the 0.5, same situation as Good Girls Guide to Murder, and read it, and I was so happy to have read it. But my favorite was Rivals, and she's really throwing me off because she's writing another book to the series and I don't have any room to put it, so I'll just read it when it comes out. So let me just flip through the rest of these. Obviously this one I have not finished, so that's cool. I kind of just have it in here now. Now it's in front of me. I know that I've started it. I know I've read the first 2, and it just really helps me keep track so that as I go about, like between last year and this year, obviously I read 2 of them. Would you remember that this year? I don't know, maybe, maybe not, but it just helps you with the visual and helps you remember and all that type of a thing. So I'm going to continue to flip through. Shatter Me, I've also not finished the whole thing. I'm about halfway through, I would say. and I'm hoping to get some more progress on this year, if not completely finish it. This one I want to briefly talk about. This is the Lunar Chronicles, and I was so proud to have finished this whole thing because there was literally so many books here. Oh my goodness. Total page count was 3,138, and it was quite the page count. I was really proud of this accomplishment. I started it last year and finished it last year, so that was really cool. Obviously, you could like write your start date and finish date. I feel like that would be a really cool addition to this. That is not something that I did yet, but now I just thought of it. I think I might start doing that. Then I've got my Harry Potter series, about halfway through that. Then I had my Star Wars series that I had all plans to read last year and just didn't have time to get started on it. Addicted to You series, Calloway Sisters, they had to have their own page, of course, because they go together. I'm hoping to start Kiss This Guy soon, and I'll get started on this series since now I've read the first 3 in this one, and it calls for you to read Kiss This Guy next. Never After, Bellinger Sisters. I'm so excited about this because I just got my hands on Hook, Line, and Sinker, and I'm about 20% into it. So this series will be checked off soon. White Girl Problems, finished that series, and that's it in this book. So there's not too much to complete in this, and then I will have completed all of my series in this book. So let's pull out my 2023 journal and find where I put my series. Here they are. Okay, I only have 3 right now, and I've already finished 1, and I'm almost done with the second one. So first one I have is The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I just finished this a couple days ago and picked my favorite book. This one I just finished, P.S. I Still Love You, so I am on to my 3rd one soon, and I've just been flying through these, and it's just like funny that they're written by the same author and they're my first 2 series on here, but that's just how it went. My next goal is to get started on the Inheritance Games. Since there is only 3 of them, I really want to take that on as a series very soon. Hopefully either next month or the month after I'll be reading that. But that is it for my series in my book journals. So I really don't like to overcommit to series. Right now I am trying to really wrap up a lot of the series that I've started that I just showed you. So I've really been hesitant to take on any new series, but like I said, the Inheritance Games is going to be my next series I take on, and then I'm just kind of going to go from there. I randomly really get into series. I have Neon Gods, I have the book here, and I bought it last year, totally thinking I would have read it by now, but I haven't even started it. So that's high on my list of next series I would like to start as well. I usually do not make a spot for my series in my book journal unless I have actually started the first book in that series, because like your plans change, they really do. You don't always read a book when you plan on reading it. Like I plan on reading the Inheritance Games in February, and now it's April and I have still yet to even start it. So plans really change a lot, and I'm hoping to also start the Once Upon a Broken Heart series as well. I would love to do the Lord of the Rings series because I've never actually read that. I really need to start that Star Wars series that I've already got a spot for, and like I said, I don't usually make a spot for it unless I read the first one, and I didn't read the first one in that, and that was actually the first time that I made a spot for something and hadn't started the first one. So yeah, there's that. And then there's 2 other series. There's Twilight and the I call it the Dog series, but it's by Bruce Cameron, and I'll put it up on the screen for you because I just, oh, A Dog's Purpose. Sorry, it's literally one of my favorite series that there is, and I would really love to reread that. I already read it, but that one and Twilight are on my list of series that I would love to reread. There's just like, there's so many books out there that I want to get started on, and it's just so hard because there's always other books popping up, and it's just so distracting to pick something else up or not feel in the mood to read a series or whatever. Last year I was really like not feeling series, and of course my book journal doesn't really show that, but For the most part, if I had a choice between a series book or just a regular book, I would pick the regular book last year. But this year, I feel like I've kind of been doing the opposite. I'm feeling like really comfortable reading series, and I'm like, well, I already know this character. I already love these characters. I don't have to do character building in the next books. I just pick up the book and we continue on with the story. And I'm really finding to really love that about series. That was something I didn't really fully appreciate before. Obviously, it's still amazing to just pick up a book, character build, have a plot line, have a storyline, and wrap it up at the end and not continue with it. Obviously, those books are great too. But I feel like there's just something magical and special about series where you just really like have a deep connection with the characters and the storyline and the author that you are just so sad to stop reading it and so happy to pick up the next one in the series. So I feel like series reads are amazing, and if you have never read a series or if you are debating reading a series, I would highly suggest starting it. And even if it's intimidating, because it is intimidating, I know I've started a lot of series and I'm involved in a lot of series and that looks like a lot, but I didn't always start like that. Like, I've been reading since I was a kid, and I remember like reading this one series. It was the Heartland series. I'll put that on the screen for you. And there were so many books to that series, and I remember reading it, and it took me forever to read that because I was reading it along with other books I was reading. But it was a series that I really stuck with, and I stuck with it to the end, and I read all of those books, and I will put the count on the screen. I don't even know how many there were, but it was a real accomplishment for me when I was a kid to read all of those and to really commit to a series that hardcore. And I feel like that's probably what got me into reading series originally, was that series. And then I think one of the next ones that I read was Gossip Girl, of course, and The Princess Diaries. Those were just like some of my favorite ones when I was a kid. And one of the series that has stuck with me for so long and is actually the only series that I have reread, and I have reread it twice now, is the Hunger Games series. This literally has my heart so much. Like, I love that series so much. I think it's probably my favorite series, actually, if you were to ask me. I can't think of any other series that is quite on that level. There's some that are very close, but I think The Hunger Games would be my favorite of all the series that I've read, and that's probably why I reread it twice now. I also would love to do a reread of Hunger Games this year before November, because Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes comes out, and it is a new movie in November, and so I would love to reread all four of them, all three Hunger Games books, and then the Ballad Songbirds and Snakes last, and I would love to just read them all before watching the movie, but I don't know if I'm going to, because like a reread of a series is kind of a hard thing to do, I feel like, because you have already read it. I don't really reread books very often, and the only time I do reread a book is if it's a series, so that I can just get that full experience again. So we'll see what happens, but those are my plans for this coming year on my series. And if you want to read a series, I would highly suggest just like keeping a little journal, writing down how many books are in the series, and just checking them off as you go, because it really makes you have a really good sense of accomplishment and just have a visual of it, so that you can really get motivated to continue reading it and just fall in love with some characters and some writing and some books. And lastly, some series. So thanks for hanging out today. That's literally all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk about series and kind of get out of my head what I've been thinking about, what I've been doing, how I've been tracking series, that kind of thing. I hope this kind of helped you to get started on your series journey, or just helped you along on your series journey if you're already reading a lot of series, which you probably are if you've watched this video. So I hope this gives you a little insight into how to better track your series. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment so that I can talk to you, because I love interacting with you guys. And go follow me on Instagram if you want to see more things from me. And also come back here every Friday for a weekly video, because that's something that happens here every Friday. And go watch another video.